When you face death, you never know how much you're alive until you face death.
And what's going through their minds, this is my last meal on this earth.
Imagine being able to choose your last meal before leaving this world forever. For inmates on death row, this final meal holds a special meaning. In some U.S. states and other countries with the death penalty, there's an unusual tradition, the last meal. These inmates can pick any food or drink they want, within certain limits on the eve of their execution. But sometimes, their choices are not just comforting, but incredibly strange. Join us as we delve into the history of last meals and uncover some of the most bizarre requests ever made by death row inmates. Number 1. Victor Harry Feguer. In 1963, a young man named Victor Harry Feguer was sentenced to death by hanging for murder. Facing his final moments, Feguer didn't request a fancy feast. Instead, he had a very specific and symbolic request: a single olive with the pit left intact. After his execution, the olive pit was found in the Feguer's pocket. This led many to believe that Feguer intended to be buried with the pit. The idea, an olive tree, a symbol of peace, would sprout from his grave, sending a message of hope and forgiveness. Number 2. Gerald Lee Mitchell. We don't know the exact year, but Gerald Lee Mitchell's last meal request is definitely memorable. While some death row inmates crave comfort food or a final taste of luxury, Mitchell had a much simple desire: pure sugar. He requested a whole bag of Jolly Rancher candies. Maybe he had a sweet tooth. Perhaps he just wanted to go out with a sugary bang. Whatever the reason, Mitchell's colorful candy request certainly stands out. Number 3. Lawrence Russel Brewer. Convicted killer. Lawrence Russel Brewer took the concept of a last meal to a whole new level in 2011. He wasn't interested in a simple meal. He wanted a massive feast. His order included fried chicken steaks with gravy and onion, a triple cheeseburger, a cheese omelet packed with fillings, fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, fried okra, barbecued meat with bread, peanut butter fudge with peanuts, and even a pint of ice cream. To wash it all down, he requested 3 root beers. Believe it or not, after this impressive spread arrived, Brewer refused to take a single bite, claiming he wasn't hungry. This act of defiance against the justice system was so outrageous that it led the state of Texas to abolish the last meal request altogether. Number 4. John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy, the notorious serial killer known as Killer Clown Pogo, received his death penalty in 1994.
For me, I enjoyed entertaining kids. Like some people are, they unwind in different ways, either by going out drinking or that.
Before his execution, Gacy's last meal request was surprisingly ordinary. He opted for 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC chicken, French fries, and a pound of strawberries. This choice might seem unusual considering Gacy's crimes, but it could be explained by his past. Prior to his conviction, Gacy owned and operated 3 KFC restaurants. Perhaps the familiar taste of KFC brought back memories of a simpler time, or maybe he just genuinely enjoyed the finger-licking goodness. Number 5. John Spinkling. Some death row inmates choose to forgo food altogether and focus on a different kind of last request. John Spinkling, known for being a heavy drinker before his conviction.
I think there was some of the attorneys that represent me now, like Anthony Amsterdam,
opted for a single flask of Jack Daniels in his final moment. He even intended to share it with the prison superintendent in a gesture of solidarity. However, this request wasn't granted. After Spinkling's execution, some states, like Florida, revised their last meal policies to exclude alcohol altogether. While some might view this as harsh, others see it as a way to maintain order and respect the seriousness of the situation. Number 6. Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos, sentenced to death in 2002 for the murders of several men.
That's why I don't care if I'm executed and leave this planet.
Had a last meal request that was as simple as it was strange. She asked for just 1 cup of black coffee. On the surface, it seems like a basic request, perhaps a way to keep herself awake before facing her fate. However, Wuornos reported last words: suggests a deeper meaning. She stated, "I would just like to say, I'm sailing with the rock. I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus June 6th. This mysterious message has been interpreted in many ways, but it certainly adds an extra layer of interest to her last meal request. Number 7. Ricky Ray Rector. Ricky Ray Rector's last meal request in 1992 seemed like a standard comfort food choice. He ordered steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, followed by a slice of pecan pie. However, there was one detail that made his request a little strange. After finishing the steak and chicken, Rector left the pecan pie untouched. When questioned about it, he simply said he was saving it for later. Whether this was meant as a joke, a final treat he planned to enjoy in the afterlife, or something else entirely remains a mystery. Number 8. Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, responsible for the deaths of 168 people, had a surprisingly simple last meal request in 2001. He didn't ask for a fancy feast or a nostalgic comfort food. Instead, McVeigh chose 2 servings of mint chocolate chip ice cream. The seemingly ordinary request has sparked debate. Was it a way for the McVeigh to show guilt for his actions, or simply a reflection of a personal preference? There is no way to know for sure. But the contrast between the severity of his crimes and the simplicity of his last meal request is certainly striking. Number 9. David Leon Woods. David Leon Woods spent a significant portion of his life, a whopping 22 years, on death row before his execution in 2007. Facing his final moments, Woods requested a meal that was both celebratory and slightly puzzling. He opted for a classic pizza and a whole birthday cake. The interesting twist: Woods' actual birthday wasn't for another 3 months. The seemingly illogical choice could be interpreted in a few ways. Perhaps Woods craved a celebratory meal to mark the end of a long and difficult chapter in his life. Maybe he simply enjoyed pizza and cake, and these were his top comfort foods. Or it's possible that the birthday cake held a deeper meaning, symbolizing a new beginning or a fresh start, even in the face of death. Whatever the reason, Woods' last meal request remains a thought-provoking example of how imprisoned prisoners use this tradition to express themselves. The tradition of last meals is not without controversy. Some argue that it's an unnecessary indulgence for those who have committed horrific crimes. Opponents say it allows criminals special treatment they don't deserve, especially considering the limitations placed on the meals of regular inmates. So, what would you order for your last meal? And which request surprised you the most? What do you think about the tradition or last meals? Should it be continued? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you can never miss our video.